Good morning. My name is Rick White from 180 Biz, and this is my Just One Thing. Today, we're talking about hardships. The reality is, if you're running your shop right now, it's probably feeling harder than you think it should. Feeling hard, that's not the issue. It's the expectation that it's not going to be hard. You're not broken. Hardships aren't a sign of failure. They create an environment that most shop owners they're operating in. That's what's going on right now. Here's what I need you to understand. Real quick, let's just get this right off the table. Hardships aren't new. They're also not optional. Every one of us is going through a hardship right now. That is the truth. We all have our challenges. There was this really cool quote that I came across from Franklin Roosevelt, who said, "A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor." Think about that for a second. A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. And the reality is, there are times when it feels like you're in rough water. You got staffing issues, no gross profit or net profit. You're getting pushed back at the front counter, and you're just overworked and overwhelmed. But I need you to understand that smooth seas don't build the capabilities that you need. Rough seas do. And I need you to understand that if it feels hard, it doesn't mean you're being punished. It means you're being developed. Hardship doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're being trained. That's what we've got to do. Here's another quote. "Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better." That was from Jim Rohn. Great guy. Listen to him sometime. Most of you want relief, not growth. You're waiting for fewer problems. You're waiting for better people to just walk in and show up on the door. You're waiting for easier conditions. They're just not going to happen. Problems don't disappear. What happens is you trade your problems. You either keep the same problems or you trade them for new ones, bigger ones, right? And that's what you want to do. If you got the same problems now that you had last year, you're stuck. What you want to be able to do is have a better problem. That means growth. But what I need you to understand is the stress that you're feeling actually isn't coming from the problem. It's coming from the gap. It's coming from what I'm really wanting to get across is that hardship is going to stick around until your skill catches up. And that's what I want to bring you to is problems are the price. Last quote, "The only people who have no problems live in a cemetery." I love that. If it wasn't for the tough times, we wouldn't appreciate the good times. That's true. But when you think about it, if you went to a movie and a guy starts in a company at 20 years old, builds it up, 21 sells it for $5 million, would you go watch that movie? Most people no, because it's not the win. It's not the win that we want to see. It's what they overcame. That's what makes a difference. I need you to understand that if you're dealing with the same problems, there's no growth. And the goal isn't fewer problems. The goal is bigger and better problems. Hardships are guaranteed. Here's how to move through them instead of getting stuck in them. That's what's going to be really cool with this. So I'm going to give you this really simple framework. When you're going through a hardship, when you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to go through this. First, acknowledge the hardship. Most people, they do one of two things. They ignore them or they push through them, or try to anyway. And I hate the word try. But what I want you to do instead is name it. I don't want you to ignore it. I don't want you to push through it. And I don't want you to stare at it, because that's what a lot of people do. They just keep staring at the same problem over and over again. And I'm going to show you why that happens in just a minute. So that's really pretty cool. But I need you to understand something. You can't grow your way out of something that you refuse to acknowledge. I think that's important. The next thing you need to do, step 2, is remember where you're going and why you're going there. Why do I say that? Because when you're not clear, when you're getting up in the morning and it's same shit, different day, then you've got a problem. So when a problem comes up, All you have to look at is the problem, the hardship. But when you can step back and go, you know something, this sucks. And as Benji said, embrace the suck. When you can step back and go, you know something, I want to go here. This is where I'm going. This is why I'm going here. This is important to me. This is just an obstacle, not my world. You know, there's that old song that says, when you're going through hell, keep on moving. Most people don't do that, though. See, what happens is they sit down and they stare at the problem. They set up camp at the problem. But I want you to imagine you're driving to Disney World with your family. Kids are all excited. You're getting there. It's awesome. And then the sinkhole opens up in the road that you were driving on. You were stopped in time. Everything works. What would you do from there? Are you going to sit there and stare at the sinkhole? No, you're going to go around, do a detour, turn around, go down a different road. Why? Because the destination's important to you. Because you have that destination set up, the sinkhole is just an obstacle. And so I need you to understand where you're going and why, because then you have direction and it keeps the hardship in perspective. When you have hardship and purpose, it feels like progress. But when you don't have where and why, now you're screwed. So the next thing you want to do, you're going to acknowledge it. Second, remember where you're going and why. The third step is remove the emotion. The reality is when you hit a hardship, it's going to suck. It's not going to be great. You're going to wish you didn't have to go through it, but don't stay in it. Anger, fear, and frustration are terrible business advisors. So what I want you to understand is you can feel the emotion, but don't let it drive the bus. Remove yourself from the emotion. Identify what needs to be added, improved, or changed. There's a skill missing, a system missing or broken, or maybe a habit that's not working for you anymore. What I want you to understand is you got to see where you got to add, improve, or change. If you can step back, see the hardship, acknowledge it. Hey, this sucks. This is what's going on. Remember where you're going, why you're going there, and then remove the emotion. Now you identify what needs to be added, improved, or changed. That's it. Super simple. The problem isn't the problem. What missing is the problem, right? What's missing? So step 5, make a plan together. I need you to understand that isolation intensifies the hardship. What I want you to be able to do is step back. And if you got a coach, you talk to them. If you have peers, you talk to them. You talk to your team. When you can get somebody else, you get a mastermind effect going on, it shortens the pain cycle because hardship handled alone lasts longer than it needs to. Step 6, once you got the plan, do it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the confidence. You got to understand that action creates clarity. May not be the exact right plan, but you're going to start with that plan and measure, adjust, and fine tune. That's the 6 steps. So again, the first step is acknowledge it. The second step is remember where you're going and why. Third, remove yourself from the emotion. Fourth, identify what needs to be added, improved, or changed. Fifth is make a plan. 6 is do it. Rough seas, they build skill. Don't wish for the hardship to go away. I like calling them challenges. Once you understand that rough seas build skill, you're going to realize that skill reduces your pain and doubt. Challenges mean that you're alive, that you're still in the game, that this is something worth fighting for. Hardships aren't here to stop you. They're here to shape you if you're willing to do the work. If this video resonated with you, please share it. Other people need to hear this week. It's all about our mindset. Opportunities, win or learn, baby, win or learn. I love that. Nelson Mandela said that. Everybody, have a great week. If this stuff, as you're listening to it, if this stuff, you're like, man, I get this, but I could use some help, give me a call. Reach out, rick@180biz.com, and let's set up a time to talk. Let's see if there's something I can do to help you out. Until next week, I want everybody to have a great week. I want you to go make some money and I want you to have fun. Take care, everybody. See ya.